ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on today's episode, well, it's a fun little double review episode. That's a little bit better. So no news, no trailer talk, no what we're watching, just two good old reviews and a whole lot of fun. Joining me, of course, today is what I name you this week. Here we go. Nowhere to Run, Nathaniel Gingrich.
What up, everybody? I am nowhere to run. Nowhere to run, Nathaniel.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, you running off a cliff.
I mean, if I have to.
Yeah.
All right, that was another one of those things, like, as a kid, that I always thought was going to be more of an issue when I grew up, was having to run off giant cliffs and land into water. Yeah, you know.
I guess they do kind of present that as a big problem when you're younger.
Do you think there's any adventurers out in the world anymore? Like, could that still be, like, a profession? Where you was
it ever, or is that just?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes there's like those dudes that were like, "Hey, I'm just gonna go to the North Pole, and then or be the first one to go to the North Pole, or like the first one to go, and then they were also the first one to go to some trench or something like that." Like, you think there's still those guys out there?
There's just
for
not
sure.
much.
Go on YouTube.
Yeah,
go on YouTube.
Sure.
They all have YouTube channels now because that's how they support themselves. But I don't know how much left there is to explore, unless it's like a new cave system we found, or if we're trying to like explore Mariana's Trench or like the seafloor or something like that.
I think about the fact that like James Cameron has been like down to the actual Titanic more often than I should. Like, that's just a weird thing to have done in your life. Yeah.
I didn't know he did that.
Yeah,
I didn't know either.
And I'm pretty sure he's been to the Mariana Trench as well too. He's obsessed with like the ocean, hence the Avatar thing.
Interesting. Didn't know that. You know who else is obsessed with the ocean? Tracker Tyler Vidalis.
I think it'd be cool to be a tracker.
Yeah, I feel like you probably. How are your tracking abilities? Do you hunt a lot? I don't know.
I haven't been hunting in a long time.
Yeah.
My grandpa got me into it when I was like 12, and then I stopped going. You know, when you're like in your age phase where you're like, I'm too cool to do anything with anybody. So I stopped doing it, and then just recently I told him that I wanted to go out on a couple trips because you only got so much time with your loved ones, but your grandparents in general, especially when you get up to like your 30s, and he's getting to the point where he's having a hard time getting around. So he's like, I mean, and he gets around, dude. Like, he's been hunting in Africa, like like everywhere, bro. Alaska, like he's an adventurer, bro. So,
there you go. That's who I was looking for.
He's like the man's man. And so I told him a couple of different times lately that I'm just going to throw some money at him, and he just needs to give me what I need as far as like licenses and tags and stuff like that before we go.
That sounds sick.
Yeah. It's cool.
Is he in the new Beast movie? Is that him?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He is the Beast.
Oh, he's the Beast. He's not the hunting. Got it. And rounding out the squadron today, of course, it's Big Bear BlakeHolder.
Yo, what up, man?
How do you feel about bears? It's been a while since we brought this bear.
I was gonna say, do you have a bear fact?
True.
That's an early pod.
I like bears. Bears are actually interesting animals, man. They're big. They can climb trees. Very close to like.
They're smart.
Yeah, very close to being an ultimate predator, right? I think you would still have to like rank cats as like S tier.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But I think bears would be A tier for sure. And they can live off like grass, berries, and things of that nature. They're omnivores. So they got a lot going for them.
Do all bears hibernate, or is that just like grizzly bears?
I'm almost positive all bears hibernate.
What a weird, just evolutionary like thing to have happen. You just go sleep for, what is it, like 3 months, something like that?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But watching them climb trees is like, that's one thing if you guys haven't done is go on YouTube and watch bears climb trees is fucking insane. At the rate of how quickly they climb the tree and how big they are, it's terrifying.
What about koala bears? Do they climb trees pretty fast?
Cool. For sure.
They're technically part of the marsupial family because they have pouches versus like the actual bear family.
They do have pouches. I forgot. Yeah. I totally forgot about that. Do you know the only marsupial in North America is a possum? Fun fact. Yeah. Fuck possums though. So
not a possum fan. No.
And anybody who is a possum fan, I would stay clear of them.
What's the other name for a possum?
I don't know. They're just not pleasant to look at.
Aren't they like kind of sweet? Do you just not like them to look at them, or because they look like a big rat?
They're not. I would pick raccoons over possums.
Really?
10 out of 10 times. Raccoons are actually pretty cool.
I feel like they're demonic.
So you're a raccoon fan, but you're not a possum fan.
Absolutely.
Put it on the record, boys.
Where do we see? I've always sympathized with skunks because like
skunks are cute. They smell really bad, but they're very cute animals. Of course,
but also like how like fucked up is it? Like Mother Nature's like cool. All these other animals get super cool things that they can do, and then skunks just got like farts. Like that's their defense mechanism. It's just like farting. Like, well, how fucked up is that?
Hey, it works.
I sympathize is all I'm saying.
I think you're patronizing skunks.
It works.
Is it? Am I patronizing? Is that what that is?
My dog's been sprayed by a skunk before.
Maybe they're proud of their farts.
I mean, I would be. You know, if that's like the one thing I've got going.
No,
I would.
You can remove their quote unquote stinker and make them as pets.
That feels cruel.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I might do that. Maybe I should invest.
I feel like that's like to like look at an animal and be like, yeah, I'm gonna remove some of its glands just so it can like hang out with me. It's just like a really weird, cruel thing that humans do.
For sure.
That's why we're at the top.
That's
of the
humans,
chain.
though. You know, I was gonna say that. Absolutely, it's weird as hell.
That's the privilege we get.
What if I was like, hey, Adam, I'm gonna steal your kidney so you can be my friend, but you can live in my house, but you can't leave.
Sounds like what's that dude's name? Linklater.
Richard Linklater.
Yeah, sounds like one of those films. But anyway, let's get into the review here, guys. Reviews plural. Yeah.
Dual.
We're gonna go. We haven't discussed, but I'm assuming we just want to go full on spoilers. No kind of.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Spoiler talk. Yeah. Let's just do the. Yeah. So if you haven't seen Predator or Prey, the original Predator, and I never really said what we're reviewing. I think I only said we're doing a double app. It's Predator and Prey, the original Predator movie, and the new Prey movie that just came to Hulu. So if you've not seen either of them, one or the other, go ahead, check the episode description. I will give you a timestamp to where both spoiler segments end, or I guess all the way towards the end of the episode. I think we'll just rank the entropy list for both of them at the end, rather than one at a time. So yeah, you can still get the rankings if you'd like. Check the episode description. If you want to go watch the movies, they are currently both streaming on Hulu. So go watch them. They're pretty good.
If you want.
All right, well, let's get into it. Starting off with Predator, I'm assuming. Got to start off with the OG.
That would only make sense.
It really does. This is my first time watching it. Anyone else?
Not me.
Way. I was like, I'd be surprised if it was
yeah, I figured.
So what are your thoughts then? I guess just since
let's do the IMDb summary here quick.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, 1987. The year the film was released. Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour, 47 minutes, and an IMDb rating of 7.8 out of 10.
Woo!
Directed by John McTiernan.
That is him.
And written by Jim Thomas and John Thomas. Starring, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers, who I was pleasantly surprised to see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there any other big people I should be shouting out here? I see Jesse Ventura, Richard Chavez, Sonny Landham.
Shane Black.
There's not a big cast here.
Shane Black would be the other one.
Shane Black.
Yeah.
Shane. Where am I?
Also, the man who gave us the Predator from 2018.
This is true. He was there to punch up the script in a writing sense.
Gotcha. Well, then there you have it. That's pretty much it, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. And Kevin Michael Hall as the titular Predator.
And then Elpidia Carrillo is also here.
Small cast, ensemble cast.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, the film. I mean, there's really about 6 characters in this.
Yeah, pretty lean and mean.
I think for the most part, yeah, for sure. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Adam? Obviously,
have we even gone into the
now, what 40 plus years old?
Do the IMDb summary. We keep trying to get us off topic here.
I'm sorry, fellas.
No, that was my fault. I got us off there already.
A team of commandos on a mission in a Central American jungle find themselves hunted by an extraterrestrial warrior.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I like it.
That's all you need.
It's a good elevator pitch. Like if someone was like,
sure.
"Hey, this is what you got to hear," or "This is what you got to see," and they gave you that, you'd be like, "Hey, I'm probably in."
I can get behind that, right? Yeah. So what did I think? I'm glad I watched it finally, but parts of this don't hold up super well.
What?
Oh my gosh.
See, like, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I was a little underwhelmed. Like, I thought it was good. I can understand why people love it, but yeah, I don't know. I was a little underwhelmed by this one.
That kind of hurts me, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, I'm not saying it's bad. It's not a bad movie. I
hear you.
Didn't have it wasn't like I was like blown away by this one.
I wish I had
It was fun seeing like Prime Arnold,
yeah, this is top tier. I would say Arnold.
Yeah,
very true.
Yeah, and obviously this is a different time of Hollywood where it's just very simple concept. There's not much exposition. It's just, oh, who is this guy? He's the best. What do we need him to do? X, Y, and Z. Cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna go in and
Yeah,
very simple.
Yeah.
Very simple, straightforward, not too complex. We're just gonna,
For some reason, they're an army commando search and rescue squad, supposedly.
Yeah.
Like, why would the army keep them on payroll for?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess I hear you, Adam. I mean, I think this is a victim of just. It's so easy to say, but like you just had to be there, right? And even this came out before I was born. But this is a movie I've seen at, I don't know, probably like 8 years old, and just seen countless times. So, yeah, I mean, there are a few things that are a tad bit dated, but I think overall it still does pretty well. I think it does the camouflage pretty well for, I mean, this movie's 40 plus years old.
Yeah.
It's hard to knock on it because obviously,
Right.
you're like you said, it's nearly 40 years old,
Yeah.
like 35 years old. So like, I can't be like, oh, the CGI is bad. Like, sure, all CGI was bad back then.
Yeah. But like, how do you like it in this sense? Because it is, I mean, because it's an action movie, right? This is a blockbuster, right? It's a 1987 blockbuster, and it is an action movie. But at its core, like, this is a horror movie, right? At least that's how I see it at its core. Where like these people, they're being hunted by something that they don't quite figure it out until the end. So like, how was kind of that? Because I assume this is did you watch this before you watched Prey? I assume you did.
Yeah.
Okay, so is this your introduction to the Predator universe? Have you not seen any Predator movie at all? Okay,
I haven't seen any.
So then, like, how do you feel about the actual Predator, right? So how do you feel about that creature? It's an alien, right? So like, how do you feel about that species? Like, what were you able to like learn watching the film?
Yeah, I thought the concept was really cool.
Okay.
I like how they just didn't give much context for why he's there. It's just like, oh, you just see him enter, he's just dropped off on Earth, and it's just like, cool. It's not like he's on a mission to do something, and I think that's kind of just why it part of the reason it's so scary is just like he is just there to kill. He's just a predator. There is no reason. You don't know. He just wants to hunt. Like it's just almost for sport, really. For sure. I think all of that is really, really cool. So I'm down with all that for sure. Now the design is really cool. I like the fact that they don't really show him fully until towards the end, and when it's getting towards the third act, and then you kind of get a full idea of it, and they hint towards it here or there, but for the most part he stays invisible, and so you don't even see what he looks like until towards the end. And this is almost like a great example of how practical effects and CGI effects age, because like when
for sure,
when you see the actual Predator, like it doesn't look bad, like it
still holds up for sure.
It holds up for sure, and then when you see him invisible, it's just like, ooh, that's not
for sure.
Great.
So, like the photon cannon.
I can't be mad about it, but that's kind of it's just I was perfectly exemplified in this movie how those two things can be so different in how they age.
Yeah, I remember seeing it for the first time and being kind of surprised at how grounded it becomes. Like it starts out very macho with like definitely them in the
handshake.
The handshake. Yeah, like
it
I've
holds
seen
that shot for like 30 seconds. It's
right.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I've seen that meme a lot of times.
Yeah, you finally have the meme
Nathaniel
context.
knows Bobby John.
I do, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so Bobby John and I used to do that every day when we saw each other at work.
Yeah.
He would always be in the warehouse, and we would always both be wearing wife beaters. So we'd always both like see each other and be like, Bobby, be like, Tyler. We'd walk towards each other,
Son of a
take our
bitch.
shirts off. So we're just wearing wife beaters, and then high five each other and hold that pose for like 30 seconds.
That doesn't get old watching this movie.
No,
That's
no.
awesome every time I watch it.
And then I think it's just the helicopter ride's incredible too, where like you're just simultaneously introduced to just the most macho men on the planet, and each one has their own little personality and everything. And
he's like sitting in the dark. He's got his hat on, lights a cigar.
Yeah. Jesse Ventura just dropping F-bombs left and right, and just
For sure. Yeah.
That dude's just got the fattest lip of dipping in the entire movie. Body.
Sexual Tyrannosaurus like me. But yeah, and then I think it does a really good job of being like you are just in that world, and then once it hits the ground, it kind of becomes very much more. I don't want to say like realistic, but just grounded in that kind of thing of like they're in a situation that sucks, and they're really outnumbered, and oh no, this thing is happening. And even though they're like supposedly the best of the best of the best, they still have to deal with it. And that's, a situation we can all find ourselves in.
Of course, I'm the best of the best all the time. I get called in.
Sir, with
too
honors.
often,
Men in Black.
Mm-hmm.
I knew
it. Yeah. I guess I'm just all in from it's part of it's like a nostalgia thing, and then the other part of it is that I'm just a huge fan of the predator species and the Yautja just in general from like reading those comics and stuff. So like I'm like knee deep in that shit, fellas. You know what I mean? In terms of like, okay, I understand hierarchy and things.
You got the lore.
So, yeah, so it's awesome, man. And I guess kind of like the more you're aware of that, like you can learn how you can see like the difference between the predator subspecies of different movies and things of that nature. So, but to your point, Adam, like, you're like, oh, he just kind of just dropped off there and he like hunts for sport. And it's like, that's exactly what their species does.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like they just hunt things for sport. So they just go to different places, different planets, or take things from other planets and bring them to a central planet. And they're on the mission to basically like hunt the best things so that they're a champion. Right.
Yeah. It's more of a rite of passage. It's how they essentially become like a man. Essentially,
which is
in their culture.
It's so weird for a movie that's so short and so like sparse that it has like spawned this huge lore behind it is crazy without like necessarily having all of the stuff that I think like the Alien franchise has, or
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, but yeah, it's how do you feel about? I mean, there's got to be so many lines in this movie that you've just seen in pop culture.
Very quotable.
Like to get to the choppas from this movie.
Yeah.
Right.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yeah. If it bleeds, we can kill it. Yeah. That's from this movie. That's like, you one ugly motherfucker or something like that. That's from this movie. All that stuff is.
Even the handshake in the beginning is a meme I see all the time online.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just the holding hands.
Oh, okay.
Yep. That's where it's from.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's still a lot of really cool things to this too. I think too, even like the integration of the heat vision is a really cool like effect. That hasn't aged well, but like is like you just don't see stuff like that too much, or is like the shining example of something like that. And then the mask reveal I think is great too, to have the mask on for so long of the movie itself, and then you finally get the reveal at the end and you're rewarded. It's not just a regular alien face. It's a fucking
like
crazy alien face.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's a creature. It's got like claws and everything, or mandibles, I guess is the word I'm looking for. It's so interesting to kind of see that. Then even as you're like learning, as you're watching the movie, you're learning about the predator as the characters are. So they're like, well, I think it's just hunting us, right? And it's like, well, and then Arnold's able to put it together that it doesn't harm. And I forgot the female actor's name, but it doesn't kill her because she's not armed.
Right. Yeah, there's
so
some
then,
sort of
like,
code.
they put that together, like, okay, there is some sort of code,
right.
or there's some sort of honor between the species. Like, it's not going to hunt you if you're not a threat. Right. So it's really interesting when they kind of start piecing that stuff together. And you kind of see that stuff in the continuous throughout the rest of the films as well.
Tyler, you haven't talked much. I assume you have a pretty long and storied history with this as well, too.
Yeah, man. You know, I saw this when I was relatively young. When was this? 83?
87.
I think
87. Oh, okay. Either way, you know, still definitely getting up there in age. But yeah, dude, I remember, you know, I had Predator toys, and I remember as like a little kid, like walking around with like I would like put my fingers like this, like 2 peace signs, and then I would fucking just like put it by my mouth, and then I'll walk around like acting like I'm the fucking Predator.
Making your Predator noise.
Yep, exactly. And yeah, man, it was so cool because like you're first kind of like seeing invisibility for like the first time, and it's pretty cool in that knowing now like what you know about the Predators, and kind of like how we were saying, like that's like it's a cultural piece for them to like have that rite of passage to become like the apex predator on a certain planet. And it's crazy how much bigger this universe has got, like we talked about, and you know, now there's comic books and graphic novels and stuff, and so it's massive, and like to the point where these predators have names,
right.
And there's quite a bit of YouTube lure on it as well. So sure. It's just super cool to kind of see how this thing has evolved and where it's gone. And when you think about like invisibility, you know, now it's supposed to look very flawless, but like back in like 87, it wouldn't have looked like that anyways. Obviously they have the point where they are invisible, but I do like the fact, and I've always liked the fact that you can still kind of see them, because there's that sense of fear, but you still feel like, oh shit, like that's what it is, or like that's like where it is. And it's always been super cool to see them in different lightings, because the way that invisibility works is it has to do with refracting light off of like what you're doing to get the image that you're trying to copy. So it's really cool to kind of see how it is now and what it was back in the day, and you can kind of see like the lines when he's like walking towards you, or like in the head and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool, and I haven't watched this in a while, but it was pretty cool to go back to. Obviously some of the dialogue hasn't aged as well, but we were obviously in some different times back then. But it's cool, you know. I love it. I love the action aspect of it. This is back in the day with the nobody gives a fuck about ammunition. So everybody's just spraying, nobody's reloading.
There's the great bit where the arm comes off and it's still shooting the gun on the ground too.
Carolia goes like, aren't these guns like hard to shoot? And I was like, yeah, don't worry about that, because like there's like no recoil, like nobody.
Oh, painless.
Like pretending.
Yeah, the guy's walking around with an LMG.
Yep.
They're all direct shots, and they're all just fine from the hit.
Yeah, yeah. Nobody's aiming down sight. It's just it's fun, man. It's one of those action movies from an earlier time, and it's just about, you know, who's the machoist man, and you know, like nobody has to go look for this thing. Like they easily all could have gotten on the helicopter like 3 hours earlier, but they're like all taking off their vests and fucking going bare shirt into this, and they're just like, no, this is mine. It's like, no, wait, you don't have to. So it was fun to go back to. I thoroughly enjoy this movie, and I probably always will.
I think you know, it is though at its core a well-made movie, you know, and like we've said, like a well-plotted movie as well too. Like even like things like the invisibility, that's, you know, that's a trope and a scare that goes all the way back to like the original Invisible Man movies of, you know, the black and white era of just filming something, saying something's there, and, you know, not really having anything there, or, you know, having something shift slightly and stuff. It's just these little things that you see pop up again and again in these kind of horror sci-fi crossovers, and an example of it just working really, really well, I think, and just being, one of those ideas that's so simple and smart. It's like Jaws. It's just, what if there's something out there that's wanting to kill you that you don't understand, and you're outmatched.
Yeah, very similar to Jaws for the jungle and
the action genre.
I mean, and what's also awesome about this one that we didn't even get to, the last probably like fucking 20 minutes of this movie is there's no fucking dialogue.
For sure, yeah.
It's just action. It's just Arnold fighting a predator fighting Arnold. And like, that's awesome too. That's very underrated. That's something that kind of, I didn't quite catch on to that until I rewatched it this time. It's the first time in a while. And I was like, oh my God, I don't think there's been anything said the past 15 minutes. Right. It's honestly just shots back and forth. It's a cat and mouse game.
Yeah, and Arnold's great.
You can kind of see the tide. Yeah, absolutely. And you can kind of see the tide flip to Arnold hunting the predator. Right. And you can see like the predator go through things that you probably wouldn't think something of that species would go to, or something of that something of an alien would go to, or like where it's like blindly firing into the forest, right? Like a panic. You can see it's like panicking and scared and things of that nature. So
it's very cool to see that evolution, how he becomes the predator and now he has something on that. And it's pretty crazy. And I always love the ending. There's just the explosions are just so massive.
He has to run so far
in comparison to like what they should be. Yeah. But yeah, the very last part where, he's going to go crush him with the rock, and then he, decides that he's probably going to spare him, and then he arms the bomb, and just the laugh, dude, that laugh will stick with me for as long as I live.
Yeah, that's one of those things where the more you're just kind of aware of, and even like Adam's point where you're just watching it, like you realize like it can like mimic things that it hears. Right. It's like in other movies you can hear that's like that's how it can kind of like speak and like draw people's attention.
Candy? That's my favorite bit.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's all, I like it. And like it's cool. Like once it's defeated, it's like, you know what? Fuck you. I'll just kill myself.
It's just it's a coward is what it is.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not gonna go back home a loser. We're both going down. So
I think there's like a somewhat famous, anecdote line, whatever you want to say, that like the mark of a great character is it has a great silhouette too. And I can remember being like 8 years old and not even having seen the Predator, but just drawing Predator like sketches and everything of them with the mask on and the big shoulder cannon and everything. It's just it's a great monster.
Awesome.
Yeah.
For this, to your point, the design is awesome. It's like reptilian. They're really tall. Like to Nathaniel's point, the mask is super cool, and then they take the mask off, and it's like almost what you could imagine what it would look like.
Right.
It's like, oh my God, that looks even more creepy than what I thought it would.
But it's still humanoid too. It's not like Alien where it's just
like human eyes.
Yeah, where it's a giant insect or anything, which I think is obviously where they kind of build that natural, rivalry between the Alien series and the Predator series that obviously culminated in AVP. But I still think super fun. Good
for sure.
Good time capsule.
Yeah, it's
I'm with you, man.
Definitely a product of the time as far as the actual movie itself. Now, obviously, the concept has grown outside of it, but still really cool.
Yeah. How do you? So just with that, how do you like it compared to the second one?
Are we moving on?
Or I guess not the second one. I guess what is this? Probably like the
2020
Predator movie. Probably.
It's so many.
Yeah. We can transition on over. So this is the new Prey. I don't know why I said new Prey. This is Prey. The new Predator.
The new Predator movie.
New installment in the Predator franchise. We'll say that. Rated R as well. A runtime of 1 hour and 39 minutes and an IMDb rating of 7.2 out of 10. Directed by Dan Trachtenberg.
Yes.
What do we recognize him from, Nathaniel?
10 Cloverfield Lane.
10 Cloverfield, yep.
That's right.
Which actually isn't a bad film.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah. Written by Patrick Asen, Dan Trachtenberg, and based on a story by, of course, Jim Thomas. Starring Amber Midthunder, Dakota Beavers, Dane DeLigro? Yeah, DeLigro, I think. Stormy Kipp, Michelle Thrush, and Julian Black Antelope. I think I'll probably stop there. Yeah. I mean, it's a big cast, but like not many big characters.
Yeah.
A lot of expendable characters. not to no pun intended. I don't know if that's really a pun, but
Spoiler.
no reference intended, I guess is more the term. So smaller cast, Amber Midthunder being the main character here. The IMDb summary reads as follows: the origin story of the Predator in the world of the Comanche.
Yep.
I'm in French mode for some reason. Comanche nation 300 years ago. Naru, a skilled warrior. Is it Naru or Naru?
I think it's Naru.
I think it's Naru as well. I don't know. Man, I'm off. Naru, a skilled warrior, fights to protect her tribe against one of the first highly evolved predators to land on Earth. All right, another solid one. 2 for 2 here, I feel like, on the Predator movies.
Those are some of the better ones I think we've had for a while.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Good job, IMDb people, whoever is writing those. All right, let's get in, I guess. Round number 2. I like this one.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's I figured you would like this more than the original. It's very similar to the original, but it's just modern. Right?
Yeah.
So like it goes over well. And I would say just for kind of the Predator franchise in the universe, I mean, this is better than all the other films they've made besides the original, in my opinion. And I would think agree. That's probably the consensus with most people. Yeah. The other ones, you're not really missing too much, Adam. You'd have to really like the creature to continue watching the films.
I disagree. I think you can watch Predators. You could just go straight from.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's not that bad.
I think Predators is pretty good, but yeah, I agree. This is really fun. I was really surprised and enjoyed this one quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely surprised. I went into this with like pretty low expectations. Not gonna lie, fellas, but that's just because
it was a Hulu movie for me.
This franchise, right?
Yeah,
it was a Hulu movie, and then what we've been given from this franchise for the past 3 films is like, meh.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous of Adam that he gets to just go from the original straight to this one and not have to endure.
You didn't see the ups and downs, man.
No. There's no payoff for me. There's no payoff whatsoever.
There were some pretty bad lows in there, fellas.
I believe it.
I think that was one of the things that like I can remember Blake and I bonding about early on too, was just being excited for the Predator. And then just being
for 2018?
Just being so horribly disappointed. So disappointed the fact that I didn't even go see it. Like I heard from you and I heard from Raziel as well too, and maybe Tyler. That was just awful, and I could never drag myself to the theaters.
Yeah.
Now you guys keep talking about all these Predator movies. But one thing I do want to see eventually is Alien versus Predator, because after watching this movie, I can't. That sounds awesome. That sounds so cool.
Yeah. So actually, most of them are on Hulu as well. So I would encourage you to watch that after you watch Alien,
which we have on the show schedule. But it's a little far out. But we have.
Yeah, I would watch, man. It's cool. And
okay, but you guys
there's history.
Alien versus Predator. We're pro Alien versus Predator.
I love that movie, but I'm just a huge fan of and so like I can't give you a non-biased answer, right? I don't think it's the greatest film. But it's fucking awesome.
It is once again very of its time and very, very New Line Cinema Resident Evil-esque, I would say.
Right.
Sure.
Like back when Resident Evil was semi-fun and good. But anyways, back to Prey. So I heard this movie was basically filmed in secret, and then they just kind of brought it out and were like, hey, we made a Predator sequel, and we decided to set it in Native American times. Doesn't that sound like a good idea? And everyone kind of went, absolutely, I'm in for that. And turns out it was a good idea.
It was. I agree.
I would also agree.
I think what I found very satisfying is when the trailer initially came out, one of the things that I think you guys were talking about, because I didn't have much to say on it, but was the fact that like it is 1712 or 1719, something like that. And the leap in technology from tomahawks and muskets to where the
plasma cannon
is quite a bit of a jump. And it's like, how do they compensate for that? Because obviously anything with the ability to get from one planet to another is just gonna mollywop anyone who has a tomahawk. So I think they did a good job of just. And I never felt like the Predator was overpowered. Like obviously he is, but it's just like I never felt like it was just like unrealistic. Like the fact that they weren't doing anything to him. Like they did a good job of it, slowly making you feel like, oh, they are slowly taking this thing down, or he's getting wounded, and then he's getting pissed off too because he's just like, stop, this is annoying as fuck, and then he would just go off even more. So they definitely did a good job of like kind of nerfing the Predator to be on par at least a little bit more.
Well, even like his little shoulder cannon is arrows now, and like he has
that was cool. I did like that. Yeah,
and like even his mask
technology is 300 years in the past.
Right. And even his mask is different too, and everything. And
And what kind of makes that being able to extend that disbelief, or what makes it better, is just like the honor with that species of the Yautja. Where, like, for example, like if you're not shooting, right, it's not going to shoot things at you, right? Like, for example, when it fights the bear, as you say, it's like straight hand-to-hand combat fighting the bear. Sure. The bear doesn't have weapons, right? And then when it's fighting the Frenchmen and they have guns, it uses a shoulder cannon, right, with arrows. So like all that stuff is built into the lore, right? So like that's how they honor different species, and that's how they see themselves as the best hunter. They're always like fight to the level of what they're fighting.
I like that. So
the spine rip is always something that will
so satisfying.
Will just get me every single time. Even like with the first one where he's on the tree and the silhouette, and you can just see it waving around. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. So that's always something that'll live with me. But yeah, particularly in Prey, the fact that they stick so true to the Comanche kind of lure with like the Thunderbird when that's like actually his ship coming in.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And just really kind of sticking with that story and really making sure that was something that was prominent. I thought they did a fucking awesome job. I was a little unsatisfied that her brother took the L, but obviously it's for a reason, because he was just a badass in himself.
Dude, yeah, and taking on the Predator in that one fight was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. I will disagree with you, Adam, a little bit about them nerfing the Predator. I always think that the Predator is supposed to be OP on purpose because it forces the person that is getting hunted to kind of evolve in themselves or find a way to de-evolve the Predator with like the mud and trying to get around like the heat seeking and everything, because those little like bombs that he throws out that are like cutting off like people's legs are ridiculous. The net is actually something you see in AVP, so I'm very glad that made a reappearance, because that was so dope.
Is that off screen in Predator 2? Like they just find the like what happens after he throws the net and that?
No, he actually shoots it at Danny Glover, but then Danny Glover has like the Predator like hand blade in his hand.
Okay,
so he's able to cut through it. Yeah,
got it.
Yeah,
but yeah, Tyler's got a good point though. Yeah, their arsenal of weapons is just fucking awesome. And like, the more movies you watch, is like that's the shit that you care about.
Yeah, the shield was great.
The shield was awesome. I actually read that was inspired by the God of War shield that he pulls out.
Okay.
So, I thought that was pretty cool, and obviously, like when he tries to hit her with it, and it's like getting caught in the rock, is really, really cool because you can see how it expands.
Great shot.
But yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool dynamic, how she is also fighting too for like her people, not just like against the Predator, but against what were they, French?
Yeah. French.
Yeah, against the Frenchmen, because like you just see that field of buffalo, and at first you probably think that it's the Predator, and then obviously later you see that they have all the buffalo skins, and that's what they're really there for, and how wasteful they were. And so that's like another thing that's like on her mind and her shoulders that she feels like she needs to protect. But I mean, dude, overall, I thought it was fucking awesome. I was very, very pleased with this overall. I did like the hatchet with the rope, although that seems ridiculously impossible. With at least the way that she had it tied off. Obviously, there's a couple of weapons in like the Asian culture that have like chains and like kunai and stuff on the edge of them, but like the the hatchet seems a little far fetched, but I was totally down. I was like, all right, that's cool. That's cool. That makes her kind of a badass.
Yeah, if Captain America's shield will boomerang back to him, I'm willing to give her the tomahawk.
Yeah. I feel like if that's like a Tomb Raider thing, like at some point she had to tie that pickaxe to a rope or something too, right? Like I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And then my only other little Easter egg that I thought was really, really cool is the pistol that she uses to shoot him and shoot his mask off. That is actually the pistol that the Predator gives Donald Glover in the second one when they're on the ship. So I thought that was a really cool little Easter egg that they kept in there and kind of figured out how that gets from point A to point B.
That was Danny Glover. Donald Glover is Childish
Gambino.
Hey, Donald Glover is in one of these movies. I will be watching that one.
I was like, I'm gonna go watch Predator 2 right fucking now.
He's like a kid.
That needs to be the next one. They make another sequel, but it's a sequel to Predator 2 starring Donald Glover in like the further RoboCop universe.
But yeah, good point. Like I said, Ty caught that. That was an interesting thing where anybody who's like a fan of kind of the franchise is something you see. That's a lot of fan service, right? The other thing that I was obviously trying to figure out too is like, okay, how are they going to get around, or like, how is she going to be able to figure out that he has heat vision, and what are they going to do? Like, I hope they don't just do the mud again, right? That was going to be my thing. I was like,
they were.
So did I, dude.
When she was in the pit, I'm like, this is how she's going to figure it out.
So did I.
They bring in that little flower or whatever that she takes, that herb, and that like slows their heart rate and stuff and cools the body down. I was like,
and I'm so happy they did that for sure, just so that we can get a new spin on that. Yeah, because after watching the first one, even in Adam's shoes, you're just like, oh man, this is going to be the same fucking movie almost, right? That's basically what I'm looking at, you know. But then it was cool to kind of have that twist as well. One thing I don't particularly care for too much in this is all these movies that kind of take a leap, right, of your suspension of disbelief. But like this one is like the Predator not knowing that because it doesn't have its mask on, it's not, the arrows aren't shooting at what it thinks it is.
Sure.
If that makes sense. Yeah. Right? I don't know how to describe that. And that's the only thing where I'm just like
the auto aim.
I feel like he should know that. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
He should.
But nonetheless, that's kind of something that killed me. And then the other thing that killed me is when they're on kind of the first hunt and they're trying to figure out if there's a predator out there or what's out there, quote unquote, they don't know, or if it's just the mountain lion that was slaughtering people, and they're finding the mountain lion on the tree, but the sounds they give that mountain lion are like straight from a tiger, and like that's not what a mountain lion sounds like at all. But that's me knowing that, right? So that's something where I'm like, I hate that they did that. I wish they would have gave it a more like natural sound, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's something I was going to say with what Tyler was talking about. Dang. It just flew out of my head right there.
Nerfing the Predator?
No, it wasn't that. It was...
we were talking about the net arsenal of weapons.
Yeah.
The shield.
Maybe the herbs. Because the only thing I was going to add on to that was... go ahead so you don't forget your thought.
No, I was just going to say that the herbs was a really good kind of sidestep. Oh, that was what I was going to say. I thought they did a really good job of walking the line about as close as you could to that fan service while still remaining pretty original and stuff, as like a requel sequel thing that we've been talking about and experiencing a lot of recently. I thought this was a great job of that, as opposed to something more like, I don't know, Halloween Kills or something like that, where it just would make it feel more obvious. And I thought they did a really good job of kind of threading that needle.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Even with the fan service, to your point, you still get the line from Dakota Beaver's character. I forgot the name. But where they even get the line, it's like, if it bleeds, we can kill it. Yeah. Like, you get that fan service,
but it still fits,
right? So like,
yeah, it works did. Well enough. Yeah.
It did, but it's one of those things where he said it, like I just couldn't help, and I'm like, I like hearing that.
But I like, I like the fact
good fan service
that I feel like you can almost see them like expecting us to be like, oh, she's in the mud pit. Oh, we're gonna get this again. But then he's like,
oh, for sure.
That the artists are aware of that now, and they're like, nah. You know, like you thought we were gonna do the mud thing again, but we are actually gonna do something more clever. So,
absolutely.
I'd watch another one of these.
Yeah, I like the way this Predator looked It looks it didn't quite look like the Jungle Predator from the original one. It looks more similar to if you've seen like the Super Predator in the Predators film with an S. It like there's like a to Adam's knowledge, right? It's like there's entire species of Yautja, right? And there's like certain predators that are like outcasted because they don't really do things with honor, right? So they don't really do things by the book. And this predator looks more like how those predators are resembled in like the comic books and in other films, right? Because their face looks a little bit longer. It looks like a little more reptilian compared to humanoid. But like that was cool to kind of see when it took the mask off. I'm like, oh, okay, it's cool. It's not like the classic predator, quote unquote.
Oh man, when this movie goes gory, it goes good gory. Like I love the I'm having on the background here, and the French guy just had his leg cut off, and the rats are eating at it and stuff, and it's just like I thought this movie actually did a really good job of hiding its like budget, where like a lot of those kills happen kind of off screen or kind of like off shot too, where it happens more in your imagination than you think they do, so they don't have to spread the budget that I'm sure was already pretty thin even more thin. I thought it did a really good job of walking that line, and I think in general this movie looks really, really good, and I wish it was in theaters.
Yeah, this should 100% have a theater release.
Yeah. Agreed.
They tweaked for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a Predator for almost like every different like time period. Like if we get Predator versus like fucking ninjas, or Predator versus like fucking pirates, or like something like that. I'm fucking in. You can keep rolling with these as long as they're this good.
That feels like a Netflix series waiting to happen, or Hulu series waiting to happen at this point.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for that. I like it was good representation of the time period too. I feel like. Yeah,
I thought very respectfully done, and very like obviously I feel like there's been a lot of talk about that there's like a full Comanche version of this movie where they have all of the subtitles there and everything. Seems like they really kind of went the extra mile to try and be as respectful and as like proper as they could. Yeah.
Even the French people too.
Everyone knows
subtitles.
French are just like that too,
Of course. All right. Do we have like a favorite kill or favorite scene from either of these movies?
Oh,
Billy.
We can do maybe one from each, or
Billy in the original, who lasts a very long time, but then gets I'm pretty sure he's the one that you see the spine come out of it, right?
Yeah,
that's him.
Yeah, it's even worse.
Apparently, that guy was an absolute nightmare on set. He apparently was like would just go out and get like rip roaring drunk and just get into like bar fights. So they actually had to like hire a bodyguard to go around and make sure he didn't just fight people in bars and stuff.
My God,
there's a lot of great stories out of.
I think I'm with you on that though.
The original Predator,
the classic spine rip.
I'm sorry, I was going off track again. Blake, say what you said.
No, I was saying I'm with you on that, just in terms of the classic spine rip. Right, where that's something you see where the predator takes its trophy from whatever it hunted.
You just hear him scream off screen, and then you find him later, and just that's crazy. Tyler, you got a favorite kill from the first one?
Probably when the predator dies. I think that's just so it's super cool. To see the tides turned, and get to see classic action hero. Schwarzenegger, just kind of going out, and the whole tree falling on him, and then him still being alive and just covered in blood. And then, like I said, the whole laugh is just absolutely iconic, and
for sure,
the noises of the wrist bomb, we'll go down in history, and it's really cool. And so I think it's probably the predator dying in the first one.
Arnie gets to go full Ewok.
Yeah.
What are you thinking for the original?
Yeah, the original is tough. Maybe the Billy one. Just he's just you know exactly what's happening. Arnold doesn't even argue. He's just like, all right, I'm gonna keep going because he knows exactly what he's doing.
Sure.
He knows there's no talking him out of it. And he was a cool character to see because everyone else up until then you're kind of like, okay, this guy's kind of weird. But then you're just like, oh, this guy knows something's up. And you're kind of like, oh, shit. he's the guy, and he's like tracking, and everyone trusts him and knows he will do whatever. And then he comes back to give his report, and he's like, yes, there's a group of 6, and then there's like a group of 3. They went this way, and then a group of 6 followed them. And they had U.S. Army boots, and I'm like, how the hell do you know all this?
Yeah.
I was like, what are you looking at? So that was cool. But then his like noble sacrifice almost was cool to watch as well.
I remember when I first saw this movie, I think I saw like the original Rambo in like the same week. And I always want like in my head they're always like interlinked, and I always wondered like how John Rambo would do against a Predator. So maybe that's another franchise we should bring together.
And then 20 years later, you got Expendables, and you were like, "Holy fuck!"
Well, and that's what I was saying. He says in this one, he's like, "We're not expendable," and I was like, "Oh, I wonder if that's where they got it from." In terms of Prey, favorite kill, the shield slice head off.
Yeah,
is pretty
that
great.
was dope. The shield through the wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like just the original, like you see him and then he's the one cat like kind of goes up to him and then he gets the 3 dots and you just know it's not gonna end well. And then he just falls over and you see the like 3 spears in him as well too. Also, shout out the dog. Dog's a hero in this one. That was not.
I was gonna say, yeah, for sure.
It might be the best on-screen dog portrayal I've ever seen. Like, I love this guy. Through Marley and Me. Give me, what was his name? I don't even remember.
Yeah, neither do I.
Cyril or something like that.
He helped. They helped take down the bear. The bear kill was pretty cool too.
Dude,
just
the bear scene was
hand-to-hand combat, and he fucking lifts it over his head.
The bear just destroys the predator. The bear is just like overwhelms the fuck out of the predator, and the predator like barely stands up, and then like just slices him. That's kind of annoying.
I saw a great tweet that was like, it was someone had said like, "Hey, that's a great bear in Prey, but come on, they couldn't get like a practical effect like they did in like The Revenant or something like that." And then someone below them had been like, "Hey, yo, that Gordy chimp in the '90s had something to say about this too." And I was like, "This is such a niche film, bro." Reference.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's. Oh, also side note. Did anyone else notice the Predator in this one has like like 24 pack? Like it just goes up to like the middle of his chest.
He's jacked.
Yeah.
He's definitely, this Predator is definitely bigger than like the Jungle Predator.
I feel like he is, right?
For sure. Yeah, definitely. I think it's I think it may be a super Predator, but I'd have to look into it way further.
I feel like Ryan Foley would be mad at me for not bringing up the original story on the Predator 2, which was the Predator was originally Jean-Claude Van Damme. But
as in he was supposed to play the Predator?
He was supposed to play the Predator, but he was so mad that once he found out that he was going to be invisible half the time that he like quit the set basically. Oh my God. And,
invisible and or wearing a mask.
Yeah, exactly. And like and part of it too is apparently the original Predator design was like this really weird. It was a red suit because it was a green background, so you couldn't just do a normal like green screen. So it was like a really weird red suit that had like long neck and like different head on the end of it, almost like a duck neck kind of thing. And they got like 3 weeks into shooting and they were like, "This is not working." So they went to Stan Winston and they were like, "Please help us." And he was like, "Yeah, first thing you should do is if you're making a monster movie where you're going to have to film it, like don't give it a long bendy neck at the end of it." Because apparently the head was just bobbing up and down the whole time. But yeah, anyways, I don't know where I was going with that. But should we rank it, or is that all our thoughts on that? Oh yeah, sorry, needed to get that anecdote in. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah, no, I'm down to rank them. It's good to get some Yautja species on here. I'm with it.
Gotta sign into my Letterboxd. I had to wipe my PC of all programs. The files, thank God, were safe, but my computer was having issues. And buddy Josh Schmeckel. Shout out Josh from Geek Squad was like, "Yeah, we're just gonna have to reset your OS. Like, there's one of the programs you have is bugging it out. So all my programs were wiped, and now I've had to reinstall them."
Damn.
No, that's tough.
Yeah, at least the files are there. That's the important thing. Files did not get wiped, which would have been even worse. But what he did fixed it, so at least so far. So fingers crossed. Anyway, Welcome back, listeners who skipped over the main reviews.
The entire podcast.
The
whole
episode. Yeah, I hope
Don't listen to this unless you've seen both these movies.
Fair enough. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and rank Predator and Prey up upon the Entropy list. For those of you who do not know, the Entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of every movie we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list. If you'd like to, or this is essentially how we rate our movies, rather than do out of 5 stars, out of 10, whatever it is. We throw up all the movies we review and see how they compare to one another. If you'd like to reference the Entropy list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description, where it is linked to my Letterboxd.
So the other John McTiernan movie we have on our list is Die Hard.
Yep, I was going to say that.
So do we think, yeah, Predator,
Yeah, you did.
Predator the original, is it better than Die Hard?
I think we just have Die Hard in a bad spot, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But
where is it right now?
It's at 62.
I'll tell you guys right now, this movie is definitely going higher than 62. That's my vote. So
that's your creed.
I have a number for Predator.
What are you thinking, Ty?
I think I'm gonna be at 48.
District 9?
You know what? I can't. No, I can't. For me, it's better than Nightmare Alley. Which is why I was gonna put it there, but then I saw fucking Blade.
Blade, yeah, Blade's awesome.
So I think I'm gonna probably be. I'll be at 50.
Okay,
50.
50
Yep.
piece. Yeah.
Tyler, I actually agree with everything you said there, so I'm actually gonna go 52. That's an easy one for me.
Thanks, Doc.
50
Not
or
a problem.
52?
50 as well.
50 as well.
50 as well. 50 also.
Okay, cool. Those little what are those words called when they have more than one?
Homophones.
Can you say that?
Is it double entendre? Or am I tripping?
No, that
double
means they
entendres
have
when things
two-
sound the same, right?
I think that's when they have two meanings.
Crazy. I just had this
what are they-
conversation with one of my coworkers. We were talking about like, can you define like verbs, nouns, adjectives, and like we were only able to all those grammatic terms, and we were only able to define like 3 of them off the top of our head, which is just really embarrassing.
Oh, that would be bad for me if I tried that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Homonym.
Yeah, what are you thinking, though, Adam?
Is that what you said?
I said homophone because homophone is.
But
Yeah.
I think those are words that sound the same because phone is sound.
Yeah, no, that definitely is.
Then homonym.
Same name.
And then there's there's homographs. What are homographs?
Numbers? Gotta be.
The ending graph.
While you're looking that up, do any of you guys own a, the store sells like the action figures? I guess I don't know the exact word for them.
They're like, the models.
Yeah. So I got the classic Predator one of those. I was close to buying the alien one, but it's not the original Xenomorph.
Yeah.
And I just fucking hate it. I can't bring myself to buy it.
That might be the nerdiest thing you've ever said.
Yeah. I love Alien and Predators though. You know what I mean? That's
no, you dropped Yautja earlier or whatever the like actual name is for the Yautja. Predators and like didn't even blink. So like it's let the listeners know that Blake does know lore. It's just not like Star Wars or Marvel the way that Tyler's and mine is.
That's one thing, but I got lore on the Predator franchise as well as the Alien franchise.
So yeah, I had at 50. Where else did we come on this guy?
Adam, what are you thinking?
I am of the opinion. You guys are gonna fucking hate me.
Oh boy.
It's low. Like it's low. I'm gonna go all the way down to 71 below the Notebook and above Tenet.
For sure.
Yeah, I kept scrolling down from where you guys were at 50. I'm like, no, I like that movie. I see Halloween 2018. No, I enjoyed that. The Strangers, fucking freaky. Conjuring, and I keep going further. I see The Rock.
Well, you put it below Eternals.
Fun. I see Independence Day, I see Top Gun, and so I have to stop. Tenet is the first one where I'm like, I could do without that one. So yeah, 71 is
Still putting it above The Descent. How dare you?
well, we've and Blind Spotting. All right, so it's
fair.
We're fucked all the way.
The list giveth and the list taketh away. That doesn't make sense there, but I just felt like saying it.
No, it works. I'm gonna just pretend it works. Blake, where are you at?
I'm way higher than you all. To be honest, I'm probably.
It's your ranking. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at 30. Nah, I can't put it there. I wanted to put it above the North End. That's above Scream, so I just can't do that, right? So then I'm like, okay, let me check under Scream and see kind of where we're at.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to put it at 34. I'd put this above Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and Shang-Chi.
Fair enough. I'm with you.
34.
Yeah.
I think we misjudged as a podcast Blake's fandom.
How much I care for these.
of the Predator. Yeah.
Wait till you see when we do Alien. You guys are probably going to fucking hate me.
Where does Godzilla rank in this, in your fandom here?
Not higher than Predator. It's probably third, to be honest with you.
Fair enough.
And that kind of, I don't know, I guess fiction,
yeah,
right?
Sci-fi.
Yeah, sci-fi.
Have you seen? Go ahead.
What up?
You've seen The Thing, right? The Thing?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Not the original though. From what is it, from the 50s or something?
Okay, yeah. Not the Thing from another planet, but you've seen the John Carpenter one. Yeah, okay.
Correct. From what is it? Is it 79 or something?
I think it's 83 maybe. And I feel like this Alien and Predator are the big three from the 80s. But anyway, sorry, we're off track again.
Totals it out to 51.25, meaning we have to tie break it with Malignant.
No.
Now, do we want to put it
again?
We can put it above or below Malignant before we check IMDb.
Let's do the rules, man.
But
we only have to check IMDb. This is going to be higher than Malignant.
I would rather us decide than IMDb personally.
This is definitely.
I think IMDb should only be referenced if we can't agree. But I've already looked up Malignant.
Yeah, but what's Malignant? It's got to be a 6.
6.2.
Right? Yeah, so for sure. People hate that movie.
It's above it. Yeah, I don't know why.
Fuck
it's
those
fantastic. People. Yeah. So Predator lands then at 51. But that's not all, folks.
Before we go to Prey, though. Before we go to Prey, I do want to hear what Blake's list was of Alien, Predator, and Godzilla. I'm sorry, I cut him off earlier.
Oh yeah, 1. I gotta go. Predator. 2 would be Alien. 3 Godzilla.
Wow, Predator above Alien. Okay.
It's
it's neck and neck.
1A, 1B. I think I like this species of Yautja better.
Okay.
Right, but the
as
Alien
a concept
films are just so much better because Predator's given us dog shit for years.
Got it. I mean? I'm with you. Okay, sorry. Let's rank Prey.
Prey. I think it's also worth noting with this double review ep, we have now synced the Entropy list with the number of episodes.
There we go.
We're back. Hey. We're back in harmony. It's been a while where we've had one less movie on the list than we have episodes, but we're back. Episode 114. We now have 114 movies on the list.
Hell yeah.
That being said, Prey.
Well, we said it was better than Predator, huh?
Yeah, we did say it was better than Predator. So.
Well, Blake,
did we say that? Adam said that.
Yeah. I said that.
Ty, Nathaniel, you guys think so?
What?
You think Prey is better than Predator?
I was talking to Carolia because I put her through the unfortunate viewing of Predator. Not for me, it was unpleasant for her, but it's close for sure, just because of they did such a good job with Prey.
Sure.
They really did.
They're really, really neck and neck for me because Prey is just such a good movie as a whole. Predator is a decent movie with a decent plot, but the nostalgia factor and the like what it actually brought to action in the late 80s and the whole kind of action hero kind of wave that was a part of, it changed the game for a lot of things. So I have to put Predator just a smidge above Prey, but Prey did a phenomenal job at even making it a hard call.
Sure.
For sure. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. That being said,
I'm making it a hard call.
I
mean, not that it's the better film, but I do agree that they knocked it out the park.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, where are you ranking it?
I got a spot. I'm gonna go
Letter rip.
46, below Weathering with You, above Paid in Full. So not much higher than where I had Predator, but yeah.
Love it.
I think it's better than District 9. I was gonna I kind of almost view it as a quasi western, so I was looking at Power of the Dog actually up there, and then I saw Weathering with You, and I was like, I gotta put Weathering with You above it. And I think I liked it a little bit better than Paid in Full. I really like this movie, and I think that was partially too. I really liked the landscape and all of the the setting for it as well too. That definitely kind of reminded me of big Colorado mountains or big Arizona mountain ranges and stuff too. I just thought that was a really cool idea and cool concept and really good updating of the Predator kind of mythos, I guess.
Sure. All right, so you said, what was it, 46?
46, I believe it was, yes.
Well, since Nathaniel followed up my 50, I will actually follow up his 46, because even though I think the Predator is better, I think by today's standards, Prey is obviously a little bit more consumable, especially for somebody that's maybe just jumping into this, because like we said, if you actually would have watched these in reverse, I think you probably would have shit on Predator a little bit more. So I'm glad that you watched Predator before.
For sure.
But anybody that is walking into this series is going to see Prey or Predator on Hulu, and they are probably 9 times out of 10 going to hit Prey first, especially if they know they're part of the same universe and this is somewhat of a prequel for the most part. Well, I think Prey is going to rank higher for most people, so I'll put it at 46 as well.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
All right. Blake?
Yeah, I'm looking. I like Prey. Don't like it. I can't put it above the original just for it being we always talk about having original ideas and content and things of that nature. That started an entire universe, right? So that
Absolutely.
has a very soft spot in my heart. I do like Prey, so I'm like, and then I see The Descent, right? And I'm like, you know what? I love Prey. I fucking love The Descent. And I'm like, I don't know if I can put this above The Descent.
Wow. Okay.
You really like that movie.
The Descent? Oh, that would be probably 40 spots higher, 40 plus spots higher.
Yeah, I like that movie, man, but I'm not nearly as hot on it as you are. But obviously, to each their own.
Yeah. So then I'm seeing that, but I'm like, okay, maybe move it up a tad bit. And I was like, you know what? I think I'll stick it at 73. So I'll just go right behind The Descent.
73.
Okay.
All right. I'm a little bit higher on this one than I was Predator. But looking at the list, I have a hard time putting it above A Quiet Place, Soul, and Malignant. Those 3 right there. I'm like, ooh, those are some hard hitters. So I'll probably go 55. I think I'm right on par with X Last Night in Soho with my enjoyment of this one. That feels like a really good spot. Maybe, you know what? I'll stick at 55.
Okay. I think that's a fair spot too.
Yeah.
Man, we were all over the board with both of these ones. This is good. It's good for the pod. Healthy.
Yeah, and that's that when you get older. a tad bit biased on these just because it's some of my favorite sci-fi. I mean, yeah. We'll have to see when we put Alien on there. That's fucking skyrocketing.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, give you guys a heads up on that.
But Blake, where'd you say you were at again? 73.
73. Yeah.
246 is a 55 and a 73.
Believe it or not, that brings us.
Is it Malignant again?
No, I wish. That'd be hilarious. It's lower than Predator. At 55 is the average.
No.
Meaning we have to.
With Last Night in Soho.
We don't even have to tie break because it's a dead even 55. I guess we can tie break. It would be with X.
No, 55 works for me, but when that. No, I'm good. I'm cool with 55.
Yeah, that's fine. You can put it above Last Night in Soho.
All right. That was easy. I was surprised it's lower. I think Blake really skewed that one.
I'm actually cool with that though too. As like for all the reasons Blake and Tyler have listed, having the original above the remake is, feels right in the world.
Gotta do it, fellas.
Yeah,
right, for sure.
All right. Well, there you have it. Predator at 51, below Frozen 2 and above Malignant. What a weird place for that movie. Now I'm looking at that after the fact. And then Prey is below A Quiet Place and above X.
The horror streak runs strong through the middle in there, man.
Yeah. We got lined up Midsommar, John Wick.
So like what's next?
33% of this list is horror.
Yeah.
Love it.
Then we got Tyler's pick, Don't Worry, Darling, Shadow Florence Pugh, American Psycho. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So next week we got Midsommar.
Is that? I didn't even check. I forgot to check. I think
we
so.
do.
Yeah, we do.
We do. I have that on Vudu as well, if anybody needs that. And I have a physical copy.
Ready
You hear that, listeners? Blake is handing out his Vudu.
Or physical copy. Come find me.
Ooh.
Come into the store. I'll pass you the physical copy.
A scavenger hunt to find Blake. Which, by the way, Brandon says you had a cool shirt yesterday, Blake. So there you go. Which, if he didn't see you yesterday, that's gonna make that very frightening.
I did. I came from you.
I just got back into town today, and if you were like, I didn't work yesterday, I was gonna be freaked out there.
Yeah, no, I had to think about it. Comment there. It was like a salmon pink shirt, kind of.
That's my favorite color.
Yeah, man.
Matches your shoes.
Anyway, Midsommar streaming on Showtime and on Apple TV or like Amazon. You can rent it streaming, but streaming for free on Showtime. Which is is that Amazon? Oh wait, Amazon Prime Video?
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime.
It's on Amazon.
That thing's been on Amazon Prime for years.
Yeah,
bro.
I want to say.
You do have to do the Showtime free trial on Amazon. Or you can rent it. But hey, there's a free trial available. So if you haven't burned that within the last year, I think is how that works. But yeah, it's available. It's around.
All right.
So go check that out.
Cool.
All right. What's next year? Let me pull up the show notes. I can't find that tab. So we have Midsommar next week. And Nathaniel, 5-star review.
No 5-star review, but if you want to hear a 5-star review read out on the podcast, just give us a 5-star review in your app of choice, and we will read it out. You can be mean, you can be nice, you can be funny, you can be awesome. Just don't be evil, and that'll happen. Otherwise, if you just want to spread the news about us, we're trying to grow a little bit. That would be nice. We've seen some healthy numbers, but if you want to help us grow more, we'd appreciate it. Tell a friend, tell something that's hunting you if you're alone in the forest, maybe strike up a conversation. If you feel like someone's watching you, just say, hey, I'm listening to Back Row Banter. You should too. And if they respond, new friend or potential enemy, but at least they're there.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is you probably could get a predator to listen to this podcast. Granted, you don't have a weapon on you.
True. If you were by yourself and you were in the room with the predator and you just started playing it on like a boombox or on your phone or something.
For sure. Yeah.
Who knows? We may be the favorite podcast of the Predator planet. We just don't know it.
Downloads would suggest otherwise.
But does that count? Interstellar downloads?
You know
I
what?
mean-
It doesn't. It doesn't come up on the map.
I said they
When
might not
see-
even be tracking
when I
it yet,
see
fellas.
where we're
ahead
getting
of the game.
downloads, when I see where we're getting downloads, their planet does not come up. So theoretically,
They
we
could be
could
pirate
number one.
radioing us.
Or they
too.
could, I was gonna say, or they
Yeah.
just be straight pirating our
Yep.
In my head
That's-
canon, we're the number one podcast on whatever planet they're on. The Yautja
Plandath.
planet.
Yautja Prime.
Oh, Yautja Prime.
Called.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Clandathu.
Well, no, I mean we have our resident predator expert here.
Thanks, Ty.
and Blake.
Thanks for validating, please. Appreciate it. All right. Well, no 5-star review, but definitely leave one if you can. I haven't checked the email. And you know what? I'm not signed in because of the reset I had to do. So I will check that next week. Follow the show and share the podcast. So share with a friend, family member, maybe a predator, as we were saying before. You can also follow the show on Twitter at Banter Row, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod, and on YouTube, we're just Back Row Banter. Short and sweet right there. And then our email for any questions, comments, concerns, grievances, anything of that sort
Thank you.
is backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. BlakeHolder.
I went to mute myself and I totally forgot.
Where can the people find you at, my man?
Letterboxd. I'll be on there, log some stuff, giving my thoughts. Letterboxd is BlakeHolder. You can find me on there. Xbox, PlayStation, Xbox, PSN, Instagram, all that is Mr. Watercooler. Feel free to contact me, whatever. If you want to play Mortal Kombat, MKX also has Predator in it. So we can play MKX and you get to choose to play the Predator. So feel free to take a look.
Isn't the Xenomorph in one of them too?
Yeah, it's an MKX. Got
Okay.
Predator and
That's what I thought.
Xenomorph in it. Yeah.
I just want to be clear. When we say share the podcast with a predator, we mean an alien predator. Don't share.
Yeah.
Not one of the other guys.
Maybe, yeah, please don't take that out of context.
I feel like we're gonna end up in some weird SEO optimization list now or something for the amount of times we said predator on
We're
this
going to
podcast.
get shadow banned.
Yeah.
Just from the AI that
But you can always find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at NSGingerk, on Instagram at NathanielG92. Sandpiper Tapes is my other podcast. That'll come back sometime, maybe. Who knows? And yeah, Tyler.
Twitch.tv/El Trabajo87. Who knows? Maybe Adam and Nathaniel and I will stream together at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find some similar interests. Maybe when the new Call of Duty comes out, maybe for like a week, because I know Adam is just kind of down on Call of Duty. Period.
Whoa.
But
I'm down on Warzone and I'm down on Vanguard. I ain't talking shit about Call of Duty itself. I'll be running those pubs, bro.
What time period is the noob called in?
Modern Warfare 2.
It's Modern Warfare 2.
again,
And if you're confused,
So they're just making
yeah.
they're just making Modern Warfare 2.
You know how? No, it's not a remake.
Didn't they just make
It's not
Modern
a remake.
Warfare?
Yes.
Fucking
Exactly.
2 years ago.
Yeah. So now it's the second one of
it's
that.
the sequel to Modern Warfare 2019.
Which had a
So
pretty
it's
fun
Modern Warfare
campaign,
2.
if I remember right.
Oh,
What'd you
fuck
say?
those guys.
So
Those
they had
guys
a
are ripping people off.
they had a pretty fun campaign, if I remember right.
It did have a good campaign. Yeah. And this one's another, I think it's the same set of characters and everything. So I'm down. I'll play it.
I'll play that garbage.
So
I
yeah.
ain't playing
Anyways,
Warzone. Don't even try it, Ty. I'm not picking it up.
maybe catch
I'm
one
not
of
even
those.
gonna install it.
battle royales are sick, man. You'll come around.
Halo has it, yeah.
We'll see. That ship may have sank or sailed or is still being built.
No,
Who knows?
it's coming. It's coming.
While we're on
Campaign.
video games, fellas, there is a video game titled Prey. So it's very
I do know that,
Bioshock-like.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've played that as well. So yeah,
I
That's
remember
really cool, to be honest with you.
the Predator Concrete Jungle game where you played as a predator going
For
around
sure.
killing people.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Awesome. And then Twitter, Letterboxd, and Instagram are all Tyler Vidales, VIDLES. Who else needs to go? Adam? Blake?
I think that's me.
I think it's Adam.
You can find me on Twitter at Aish24, on Letterboxd to add Aish, and soon to be back on Twitch, twitch.tv/Aish. Thank you guys for listening, especially if you made it this far into the episode. Kind of a different episode. We haven't done a double ep review in a while, but let us know if we should do more of them. We like them. They're fun. They're a little bit easier on me because I don't have to spend like 30 minutes or 40 minutes doing the show notes every week, so that's always fun. So yeah. I think that's it. Join us next week for our review of Midsommar, and we'll BRB.
Be excellent to each other, everyone, and we will BRB.
Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate anything that you can do to help us grow. We appreciate anything you do, just in the future, and just be good to one another. You never know where anyone's at in their journey, and yeah, we'll BRB.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for the support as always. If you tuned into this full episode, you're probably a fan of the Predator franchise. Please go in and watch the rest of those films. You can watch Predator 2, Predators with an S, which is also a great film. I would not recommend anyone to watch The Predator from 2018. And that's all I've got. We'll BRB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
Well, since we're just chatting informally, did anyone get anything interesting this week, watching, reading wise?
Saw a little artist perform. His name was Kendrick Lamar. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
I only know Kung Fu Kenny.
Who?
Yeah.
K-Dot.
K-Dot, Oklahoma.
Man of several names.
Man of,
How was it though? Dope.
Man of
I
many
could
monikers.
imagine.
Fucking yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
right, yeah. You didn't even have to explain.
Yeah, I don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
It might have been better than when I saw him in Chicago for the damn tour. It honestly might have been.
Everything I've seen and like kind of read up on this tour is like, yeah, it's just next level. You know,
It
what I mean?
is.
There's artistry and everything.
It really is. This is because you have Kanye who does like those big stadium performances that are super out there, artistic and kind of weird almost with like the house and the stadium and whatnot. And he's more just like he's not even, to me it doesn't seem like he's really performing the album as much as he is kind of debuting it and playing it for people. This is a much more of a mix of that, where it's like he has these set pieces, he has these kind of almost characters that are in the show, but he's also performing all of his music live and whatnot. And of course there's great to say bits is like disingenuous, but bits, for lack of a better term, kind of like little things here and there, and then great set pieces as far as like the stage and whatnot. And then the thing that made the show for me was Baby Keem. 1,000%.
Yeah, you kept saying, you fuck with Baby Keem.
I fuck with Baby Keem hella hard after Melodic Blue, his latest album.
I like him. I'm not gonna lie. The Melodic Blue, I don't spin it a lot, but it is in my rotation of music. I will certainly say
it's really good. And he opened the show. Obviously there's two openers. The first one was kind of and then Baby Keem.
Who's the first opener?
His name was Tana Leone, I think. Tara Leone. He's actually the voice of one of Kendrick's songs. He sings the chorus, I think, of Mr. Morale, maybe.
Oh, sure. Right.
Because he came out and performed the chorus for that song. I was like, oh, okay, that's why he's doing this. And then Baby Keem came on for being a second opener. Yeah. And he did about 20 minutes. He did like 4 or 5 songs, then he went off stage, and then everyone was like, what the fuck? Like I was like, that's really short. And then he came back on for like basically it wasn't even an encore, it was like an entire second half of his set. And he did another 4 or 5 songs, and the second half was just insane. And he did like Honest, which isn't even on Melodic Blue, but that he did all of his hits off Melodic Blue. Yeah, just great opening. And that was a great thing to start out with, because like I said, I love Baby Keem. And
did Kendrick only do Mr. Morale songs, or did he go back and do?
No, dude, he did about every single Kendrick song that blew up like ever. Like really, like he did Money Trees, he did Swimming Pool, he did Mad City, he did a lot of from Damn, like King Kunta, like he did. Yeah. If you go to Spotify's like This Is Kendrick playlist,
sure, he's basically going that. Yeah, for
sure. He did most of those songs, like and he didn't play the whole thing, but he would play like a very popular verse and whatnot. from that song, and
Yeah,
and it would
that's
be maybe like a half that song, but like he played just about everything you could have asked him to play, and it was awesome. And then towards the end of the show, in the last like 30 minutes, he brought Baby Keem out, and they did like Range Brothers and a couple other songs
right.
that
They're
they're both
collabs.
on.
Rolly
Yeah,
gang,
exactly.
rolly gang, rolly gang.
Dude, that was so much fun to see. And then it was like
We are not the Waynes.
yeah. Well, no, because he goes, "We are not the same," and then Kendrick goes, "He's Baby Keem." And it was just like, I was just like, me and because I went with Noah too, and we both just started dying. The weirdest thing about it, not weirdest, but something that me and Noah thought was really interesting is he was censoring the N-word a lot. Not all the time, like he would still say it, but he didn't say it. Like he didn't say like 75% of the time. So he was
Right.
censoring the N-word in his own
But
songs.
Is this the first time he's on tour since they had that one slip? Yeah, I think that was his last tour.
That was Damn.
That was that was the
and
damn
he
tour,
brings
that
it
one
up. He
slip
brings it up in
yeah.
that one.
And he talks about it in the song too, for sure.
Yeah,
But it makes
and
sense. I mean, if
I know,
you're gonna
and
take
I
that
just thought that
stance,
was
you got to at least try to
super
stand on it.
interesting.
You know?
Yeah, because he definitely didn't do that on the Damn tour, that's for sure. And
Yeah.
he started doing that. And I just noticed it. I was like, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, this incredible. I can't
I'm
wait to see
100%
him.
down for not resin this kid.
Same.
Yeah,
That's hilarious with no context.
Yeah. No, I've decided like I'm gonna have to go see him again. Like he is, and I recommend anyone who can go see him. 'Cause it like
I'm glad that we
he's
got
still
his
coming to
band,
Chicago.
too.
There's still
In
time
there.
to go see this tour, guys.
Yeah, I was
It
thinking
really
of it, 'cause
might
I've
be
only
worth
seen him
it, dude.
once, and it
Incredible.
was
I
2012.
I've never
so
seen it.
around Good Kid, Mad City.
We can make a back row a field trip. I would be down to go with. I'm sure
Yeah,
Kyle
that'd
would go
it'd be
too.
worth it.
All right,
Yeah, I'm down. We can look at that. That'll be dope.
It'd be worth it. I know tickets are hella expensive for the United Center.
Yeah,
but
United Center's just a fucking venue that just fucks you wild, bro.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
but I'm telling you, you guys.
I'm sure it's worth it.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
worth it. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I've never been. I've never even been to see him. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I remember.
I'm sure. Have you been to the United Center?
Yeah. I was there for the UFC,
Okay.
and then I was there for Justin Timberlake as well too.
Okay.
It's also just wild because like we've talked so much about Kendrick in the past few months ever since he's released this album, and like he's just right in front of you. Like just seeing him, like
Great
just
guy.
seeing him, it's just like he is just right there. Like that's
a human.
him. He's exactly. Like you know, you listen or see all these people in the movies, or you listen to all their music, but then to like, and obviously I wasn't that close to him, but like just to see him in front of you is just in person is just wild. It just it doesn't like ever sink in that like that's Kendrick right there. It's awesome. Baby Keem, though, my God, made that concert for me. Like, obviously, it was incredible, but I think that's what edges it out for being better than
Damn tour.
the Damn tour. Because I like Travis. I didn't love him at the time, didn't know a bunch of his stuff, but the fact that I knew just about every single Baby Keem song played just made it so much better.
What? They got Ex Machina at 28, and it's not even in the masterpiece tier. The masterpiece tier has got like fucking 20 movies.
I'm not seeing anything for Kendrick in Chicago.
It's definitely on there. I think he's in here late September, if I
is.
remember off the top of my head. Late September, early October. It could very well be sold out, right? But I know it's certainly on his tour dates.
Wait.
Did you take it off?
It was August 19th?
All right.
That was it was before. Oh, it already passed.
Yeah.
That was, okay, so you played that 2 days before mine. Oh fuck. I thought it was September as well. I thought it was after the show.
Well, I blame Adam.
Yep, you should. It's not like I've been talking about this concert for a couple weeks now and could have thought to guarantee it.